Hello everyone, here are the latest market news on August the 15th, 2019. Stocks fall on concerns of global recession. Asian stocks declined on Thursday as investors concerned an historic drop in long-term U.S. bond yields could portend a recession globally. Yields on 30-year Treasuries fell to all-time lows at 1.965%, while yields on 10-year paper dropped to 1.545%. Such an inversion was last seen in 2007 and correctly foretold the Great Recession that followed a year later. MSCI's broadest index of Asia-Pacific shares outside Japan lost 0.7% and briefly touched a 7-month low. Meantime, Japan's benchmark Nikkei decreased 1.3%, while China's Shanghai Composite tumbled 0.4%, and Hong Kong's Seng was flat. The hope that U.S. Fed will cut rates at its September meeting helped E-mini futures for the S&P 500 added 0.5% in late Asian trade. In the European region, the main benchmark Euro Stoxx 50 was last traded up 0.3%, suggesting a modestly higher open for European stocks. UK's Johnson faces with a vote of no confidence. Britain's opposition Labour Party began its bid to bring down Prime Minister Boris Johnson with a vote of no confidence, urging lawmakers to unite behind a caretaker government led by Jeremy Corbyn to prevent a no-deal Brexit. Johnson has promised to take Britain out of the European Union by October the 31st, with or without a deal, setting the scene for a showdown in Parliament where lawmakers are opposed to a divorce without a transition agreement. In a case if UK Parliament passes a no-confidence motion against PM Johnson, Jeremy Corbyn said that his strictly time-limited temporary government would delay Brexit and hold a general election. China's military forces near border with Hong Kong. The part of China's People's Armed Police could be seen conducting exercises on Thursday at a sports stadium in Shenzhen as the U.S. State Department expressed concern that they could be deployed across the border in Hong Kong to break up protests in the city. On Wednesday, the U.S. State Department said it was deeply concerned about reports that Chinese police forces were gathering near the border with Hong Kong and urged the city's government to respect freedom of speech. But Western and Asian diplomats in Hong Kong said Beijing has little appetite for rolling the PAP or the People's Liberation Army onto Hong Kong streets. Meantime, 10 weeks of increasingly protests have plunged Hong Kong into a worse crisis since it reverted from British to Chinese rule in 1997. This situation represents one of the biggest challenges for Chinese President Xi Jinping since he came to power in 2012. Carlsberg reports higher profit on strong sales. Carlsberg AS global famous brewer reported a strong first half after its sales of craft beer surged 17% from a year earlier. On Thursday, the Danish company said that rise in net profit was marked at 25% to 3.1 billion kroner, $460 million. As for company shares, they added 37% this year. Last week, shares climbed the most in almost a decade after Carlsberg raised its forecast due to strong numbers. Meanwhile, Carlsberg is starting the second stage of a previously announced share buyback program and plans to repurchase 2 billion kroner of its own stock.